A 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, hello.
Serious Rock Talk. We are back on the dial. I'm your host, Kennedy, and the man next to me into the booth who always needs an introduction once in a while, a man who was a big fan of the Bee Gees album Horizontal.
Dr. Ian
Is that correct, Ian? You didn't have an issue with that album?
No, it's up there above Sgt. Pepper, but that's just the way I roll. So you either dig it or don't.
I have to say, considering Bee Gees did shows many years ago, oh my God, probably in the beginning of our seasons, that the most, lovable band or the safest band that you could like would be the Bee Gees. That was, I think, number one that you came up with.
Pretty well, but they weren't cool, but they were good.
They were good.
We all liked Saturday Night Fever, but it really wasn't cool because it was disco. So you had to like in quotes, Pink Floyd more. But the Bee Gees are a great band. Barry Gibb is, in terms of money making, is second only to Paul McCartney.
I still find Robin Gibbs had better songs.
Well, I'm not sure if he wrote many, but he sang them.
They were pretty good. Massachusetts. See, I'm going back.
Yeah, but I'm not sure of Robin. I started a dose.
I love that one.
Yeah.
I started the joke.
I think it's a dose, but anyway.
So what we're doing today is actually a show that many people wanted us to do, and
It's true.
It's the Frontman.
Yep, we've been. Don't say we don't respond to these emails because we're going to take a look at. We're going to say 50, but whatever, of the greatest frontmen of all time.
That's right, and I wrote a small little intro
Yes.
for the Frontman.
Okay.
And this is what I came up with for Serious Rock Talk, and my colleague here will either go, in the words of John Pinette, nay, or he'll probably say, right on. So, here we go. The frontman is the most integral part of any rock group. Without them, there would be no energy. So what makes a frontman exceptional? The answer can vary for many. It also depends on what criteria we are basing it on. I have produced my own criteria, and today I will share this with you, the listeners. Prepare yourself for some serious rock talk.
Talk.
So here's Kennedy's frontman criteria. Must have a few of these to qualify.
Okay.
It's only 10, but you can't, you have to have at least a few. Let's just say maybe, 40%. First one, needs to have a solid voice with a great set of lungs to hit some of those high notes when required. Raspy voices are welcomed.
All right.
Yeah, you like that one so far?
Not really, but I'm going to wait till you get through, and then I'm going to get medieval.
Number 2, needs to be on key and sing in harmony.
Oh, I'm going to have such a disagreement with this.
Needs to look cool. Image is important.
Well, that's true.
Must have stage presence and good showmanship. Being athletic or in good shape is a bonus.
Yeah, absolutely.
Plays an instrument is a bonus.
Disagree.
I said it's a bonus.
It's not even a bonus.
Longevity or long-running shelf life as the frontman earns you extra bonus points.
True.
Needs to work the audience and interact with them live as it creates the likable element.
Sure.
Versatility. Songwriting in any capacity, whether it's solo or in collaboration, is a plus.
Sure.
And compliments his bandmates and those around them.
Yeah, sure.
So what's your medieval?
Well, hang on. Let me. It took me by surprise. I would say this. I'll give my little intro. This is what we'll do a tag team here.
All right.
I say, ladies and germs, you'll notice that we said front men. We could have said front people, but it's such a commonplace expression. We had to get around it somehow. However unfair. I mean, we do have Janis Joplin, Debbie Harry, Stevie Nicks, etc. Front people, whatever. And right from the outset, I want to distinguish anyway the difference between a front person and a great singer. Rolling Stone is always guilty of 50 of great frontmen, and they're all great singers like Roger Daltrey. These publications often screw it up. So, we're going to talk about the 50 here. I won't actually. You read off your list, and I'll have a separate list here. I have two lists. One that I really like. One is a Rolling Stone list, or maybe it's ultimateclassicrock.com, which I don't really agree with at all.
Well, this one here I have is Billboard.
Oh, good. So we got different stuff.
So Billboard produced a frontman list of August of 2023. So
Okay.
we are rolling into November of 2023. So 3 months ago they wrote this list. So you want me to start off on?
Yeah,
this
go ahead.
Okay, so they have 50, and I don't like Ian. Obviously, if we don't agree, then why would we even,
It's just to talk about why they would do it. Sometimes you try to figure out the reasoning behind somebody. Like when I read my list, I was dumb. Lucky I was sitting down when I read it, because half of these guys are not frontmen.
Well, no. So, all right. So they got here. This one here was actually August 16th, 2023.
Yeah.
And this is from Billboard.com.
Okay.
There's about, I don't know, a group of quite a few writers that collaborated on this list. So, obviously, I guess everyone has their own opinion.
Sure.
So, number 50 that they came up with was Zach De La Rocca from Rage Against the Machine.
Okay. I mean,
I can
yeah.
live with that.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, because he does know how to work the crowd.
He sure
He's
does.
very energetic, loves to swear, very political. This is what it is. This is what they do. This one here, I don't know who this person is. Ruben Albaran from Cafe Tagba.
This is when you want to say shut up.
Exactly. David Grohl made 48 for the Foo Fighters, so obviously we know he's a successful frontman, and he's globally recognized. He's also a multi-musician.
Multi-instrumentalist. Yeah.
Multi-instrumentalist. He plays so many things. The next one, Ian, I think you know this one. Paul Westerberg from The Replacements.
Yeah, I wouldn't call him a great frontman, but okay. You know what I mean? He's certainly, obviously, a very competent guy. Frontman? Nah.
All right. Then we have Pauly Styron from the X-Ray Specs.
Again, shut up.
I never heard of these people. This one I have heard of. Corey Glover, Living Color. Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Okay, sure.
Okay, they were unique. They were actually, their big hit, Cult of Personality. Why not? Okay. This one here, Jerry Garcia, or if you're in that movie Stand and Deliver, it's Garcia. How they pronounce it, depending how you want to
What does it bring me the head of Jerry Garcia? No, I wouldn't call him a front man.
The Grateful Dead, yeah.
Yeah, he's in a band. Maybe Bob Weir's the front. Jerry wasn't the front man. I don't know. It's a band that way.
Then they put number 43, Courtney Love.
Next. You know what I mean? They were a sloppy.
This one here I'm okay with. Serge Tankian from System of a Down. They're heavier, but I'm okay with them.
Don't know.
Yeah. It's not your genre. This one here I'm okay with, even though we don't know who's the problem. Liam Gallagher from Oasis. So is it Liam? Is it Noel? I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think Liam Gallagher is a very
Probably
good
I wouldn't say he's a good front man.
You don't think so?
No.
I like the stage presence.
No, he's a goof.
Well, there you go. You want to say something else?
Yeah. I can't.
It rhymes with Rick. Brittany Howard from Alabama Shakes. Okay,
No.
She's got a good voice, but it's kind of like that southern.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good front person.
She's like a.
Okay, I
Mama
guess.
Cass, maybe.
Yeah, she's okay.
Yeah, she's okay, but to be on a top 50.
50
list?
of all time?
No.
Stop.
This one here, Ian, they might have ranked them a little too low or high, how you want to go. Paul McCartney and the Beatles.
Paul McCartney is not a front man. Stop it. Stop. It's especially the Beatles didn't have a front man.
Oh, it was just John and Paul.
Yeah, so those are front people, I guess, because they sang their own songs. They're not a front. It's an abuse of the term.
He'd probably be like, when John and I decided. That's what he would say, right?
Yeah.
This one here, I think you'll agree with. Iggy Pop from the Stooges.
Yeah, I've seen him live. He's an amazing frontman.
And what's his real name again, Ian? Richie what?
His name is Jimmy Osterberg.
Is it Jimmy or Richie?
James
Ostenberg?
I think it's Osterberg. Yeah.
Osterberg, yeah. Anyway, I like Iggy Pop. I think he's phenomenal. I'm glad he's still going.
Incredibly, he is.
Gwen Stefani. Okay, from No Doubt.
Yeah, I don't.
She was hot. That was it.
Yeah, I don't see as a front person engaging the crowd, and I don't know. Maybe that's my hang up.
Kind
but
of like she's
no
not alternative, really.
And she's an entertainer in a way. Like
Joe Strummer from The Clash.
a good front man. I guess so. That's borderline, but I'm okay with it.
I like how they call him unabashedly political and deeply humanitarian.
Oh, okay.
Wait, hold on. In the words of Ian, shut up. Just shut up.
You know what I mean? Just stop writing.
Grace Slick from Jefferson Airplane.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah. This one here I'm okay with. 34, Chester Bennington the late Chester Bennington from Linkin Park.
Yeah.
Okay, and
sure.
that album that he did, Collision Course with Jay-Z, was pretty good. That they did 6 songs where they took 6 lyrics of Jay-Z's.
Oh, one of those things. Yeah,
it was pretty good actually. This one here, Ian, I don't know if you do. Gustavo Cerati from Soda Stereo.
Never heard of him or the band, but that's my ignorance.
It's a great legendary frontman of Argentina's Soda Stereo.
Okay, they're being a smart.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
I think our other co-host would know who this is.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little obscure, a little elitist. Yeah.
This one here, I'm okay with. Is he ranked too low? I don't know. I think Ozzy Osbourne should have been put a little bit more into the top 20, but I'm at 32.
I mean, he's obviously a front person, a front man, and whatever you call him, and he wouldn't be around if he wasn't.
I like how they call him a metal forefather.
Yeah, that's true, right?
Inspired countless vocalists, many of whom admittedly are far more technically proficient.
That's true, but he never said he had a great voice. He was a presence. Ozzy was a presence.
I love how they call him the Prince of Darkness's distinctive tone and melodramatic delivery. Gotta love Ozzy. Live forever, my friend. Live forever. Yes. This one here, Laura Jane Grace from Against Me.
Don't know her.
I know the band. I'm not really familiar with their work.
No.
And now this one here, they got a lot of heat on this one because they put Steve Perry from Journey at number 30.
Yeah.
And when we get to number 20, they were saying, how could that be? They should have swapped, but I'll defend number 20.
Yeah, okay.
Number 29. Now, my Steve Perry made the top 30. That's fine.
Yeah.
Ann Wilson from Heart.
I'm trying to think. Would I count her as a front person?
I'm trying to think myself.
Yeah, I mean with her
Nancy.
Her sister.
Is it Nancy? Yeah.
Yes, Nancy. Okay. Again, you're just over the line on that. As a front person, yeah, okay. I mean, she is the singer.
It is her?
Yeah, primarily she sings. She's it.
All right.
Great voice.
28, they got Anthony Kiedis from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. I like his stage presence. I've seen them live.
Yeah, I think of them more as a band, but okay.
Well, I know what you're thinking of because you see him and Flea jumping around all over the place. Yeah, that's fine. But Flea doesn't sing, so...
Yeah.
27, Ian, your friend, good old Lou Reed from the Velvet Underground.
Yeah. I wouldn't say Lou Reed's a frontman for the Velvet Underground. I mean, you could argue John. I just wouldn't. I don't think it. I think it's a band. Lou's not a. He doesn't engage the God help you. He just does the opposite. He's a very aloof, kind of abrasive guy. The late Lou Reed. But you know what I mean? The Velvet Underground was, and that's why it survives to this day. It was a great band. They didn't have a front person that way. Lou wrote most of the song. Well, I don't know about that.
Hey, babe, take a walk on the wild.
Well, that's on his own. But yeah, for the Velvets, yeah.
I didn't realize he was there in the 60s.
Yeah, mid-60s and early 60s.
So, ladies and germs, whenever we talk about certain artists, when Ian mentioned Velvet Underground when we first started the podcast back in 2018, I thought the Velvet Underground was a 70s band. More like a late 70s band. But when you have friends like Ian and we talk and discuss about certain time frames, it's good to learn that I didn't know they were in the 60s until Ian told me that they were in the 60s.
Well, yeah, and Lou Reed started off as a songwriter for Pickwick or one of these fairly obscure labels. It's just a bizarre thought, but Velvet Underground is one of the most influential bands in rock history. Top 10.
All right.
Yeah.
Tom York from Radiohead, they have him at 26.
Good front man. I mean, he does. I know he's kind of offbeat, but he engages.
He's a very angry individual.
Yeah, he's an angry little man.
Janis Joplin from the Big Brother and the Holding Company.
Obviously. Yeah, I mean, there's not even debatable.
I'm gonna take another piece of my heart. I love that song.
Great song.
Rob Halford from Judas Priest. Putting him in the top 30, I think that's respectable. I find Judas Priest doesn't get enough love, for all what they've done.
Yeah, he's been around a long time, and yeah, he engages.
In the 60s, they came out in the 60s.
Was that early?
60,
No,
yeah.
really?
Judas Priest, I think the earliest I have is 68.
Oh my God, I had no idea they were that old. Good for him. Still around.
The next one, Karen O from the Yeah Yeah Yeahs.
Oh, I know the band.
I don't.
Yeah, I don't, but I can't. She doesn't stand out, but I know the band.
Well, here's what they wrote. Her voice, her energy, her style, her words, and most sacrificially, her body. Health be damned. If Karen O is on stage, she's going to throw herself around like a glimmering pinball, thrust by the sheer force of her artistry.
Great. Better pick it up.
Yeah. All right. I never heard of her, but you did.
I've heard of the band, not her.
All right. This one here, yeah, I think it's fair. Eddie Vedder, great front man.
Yeah.
90s, Vedder was literally a high-flying front man, maniacally jumping off balconies, dangling from lighting trusses, and almost friggin'
Yeah, I don't think he does it anymore, but
death-defying drops. Number 21, Ian, how do you feel about having your good friend James Douglas Morrison?
Yeah, he's on all these lists.
Jim Morrison, for those of you who are wondering who we're talking about.
I guess, yeah, he was a good front man. He did hit your, certainly a sexy guy, and he engaged the crowd, probably in the wrong reasons for sometimes, but you know what I mean. But he was, and he invented the whole leather pants. In fact, I made one of our previous podcasts, ladies and gentlemen. I think maybe it was a Dedicated Doors podcast. I talked about how he set the mold for what a rock star is supposed to look like. And this is like 1966, 67. He set the mold, and they really haven't changed it. Kind of pretty thin, and, the long hair, the kind of gapped out look. Morrison, he really nailed it.
Well, they have here, they go his voice, a deep yet velvety amalgam of raw power, and they go Roadhouse Blues, 5-1 as an example, and haunting delivery, The Crystal Ship, and Riders on the Storm.
I think it's a trivia. I think it was Frank Sinatra. I think it was Riders on the Storm, and he went crazy, as Frank was apt to, because he thought that Morrison was trying to impersonate him or something.
He went by the Lizard King?
Yeah, Sinatra heard him, and he went, Riders on the Storm. And you can kind of see Sinatra almost singing that in a weird way. In fact, they should AI that and see how Sounds.
Ian, what's your favorite Doors album while I'm here?
First one.
The Doors.
Self-titled.
Okay. All right, here's number 20, and this is the one that a lot of people had backlash on when they said, well, how can you put Steve Perry at number 30 from Journey? And yet at number 20, you put Van Halen's David Lee Roth, because that's what you do. Diamond Dave is the most iconic frontman in my opinion. I don't care what other people say right now, because I love DLR, because he is the man. He knew how to work the stage. He knew how to hit those high notes. He knew how to do the backflips, the karate moves, all that stuff. He was Van Halen with Eddie Van Halen. They were. Everyone loves Van Halen with David Lee Roth. Yeah, Hagar and Halen did some good stuff, but Hagar wasn't really a front man compared to David Lee Roth.
Yeah, I'm not in love with Diamond Dave, but he's a good front man.
Of course, I'm biased because I love Van Halen. It's one of my top 5 bands.
Well, you look out of the hair in his chest, too. You mention that often.
Hey, we share the same type of chest hair.
All right.
Now, this one here, Ian, I don't know who this lovely lady is. Kathleen Hanna from Bikini Kill.
No, I know the band again, but I don't know her.
It says here, as a leading figure of the Riot Girl movement,
Oh, okay.
Hannah's Bikini Kill performance carried an extra weight.
Hannah, okay.
So, number 18, kind of interesting that he's on the list, but whatever. Jack White from the White Stripes. So what? It's just you and your ex-wife, really, and you went around singing with your sister.
I
whatever.
know. I don't really see him as a he's just a solo performer.
Well, yeah.
What do you mean? You got one person behind you in drums.
That's it.
Shut up.
This one here, Chris Cornell Soundgarden. I think he's placed perfectly in the top 20.
Obviously, yeah. That's not debatable.
Probably one of the greatest voices, I think, that came out of the late
Yeah.
80s, early 90s.
Late, great Chris Cornell.
This one here is pretty good, too. I'm happy with this one. Michael Stipe from REM. I
Yeah.
think he knew how to work a crowd. He knew how to work the audience, read the room, and he just knew how to perform.
He was a quirky character, but a good frontman.
Yeah. This one here, Ian, Chrissy Hine from The Pretenders.
She's on a lot of these lists. Again, when I think of the Pretenders, I think of her, and I know, in fact, tragic often what happened to the guys behind her. But yeah, I'll give her that.
Steve Tyler, 14.
That's an obvious.
I would have put him more in a top 10. To be
Yeah, I
honest.
mean, that's just so obvious.
But everyone knows Steve Tyler from Aerosmith, or better known as his birth name, Steven Tallarico, or Steven Victor Tallarico, good Italian boy. From Yonkers. This one here, I actually like her voice. I'm okay with her being in the top 15, top 20. Hayley Williams from Paramore.
Don't know her.
Okay. This one here, Ian, you're probably going to think should have went to the top 10, excuse me. Roger Daltrey from The Who.
Well, he's just, he's like Morrison. I'd say probably top. He should be 3 or 2. I mean, what doesn't he have from your list? So.
He's got all of it.
He got all of it, so.
Plus, he's built like a brick shit
Yeah,
house.
he still is.
Robert Smith from The Cure.
That's a front man. Yeah, okay. And a very different kind of front man.
They're kind of punky, right?
Yeah, they're great bands. Still going. Great
Yeah, they're
song.
touring.
They're touring.
This one here made in the top 10. Again, a lot of people had backlash in this one. I could defend it. I'll see how I feel. Axl Rose from Guns N' Roses, top 10.
Yeah, I mean, I find him repulsive, but he's a good front man. I mean, he's a grotesque, but what the hell?
He's good. He's good. I have to give it. I'm okay with him being.
You wouldn't want to share a washroom with him, but okay.
Probably not. Number 9, Ian. I don't know how you're gonna feel about this one. Bono.
Front man. Yeah, I'm not sure about engaging crowds, but okay. Okay. Again, just over the hump a bit.
Could we call him a philanthropist?
Yeah, he gives a lot of his jet fuel to his countries.
This one here, Ian, you might say, yeah, it sounds pretty good. Or you might say, like, oh, wow, I totally forgot about him. George Clinton from Parliament Funkadelic.
No, I can't. Ladies and germs, I don't know if you know the Parliament Funkadelic. George isn't really a musician at all. I don't know what he is. He's not a front man. He's like a manager that puts feathers in his hair and shows up on stage. I don't know if he produces them. No one knows what he does. In fact, I've heard Bootsy Collins interviewed. No one knows. Anyway, I can't accept him as a front man.
They say as a vocalist, Clinton was far from the strongest technical singer in the collective's rotation of crooners. When he did provide lead vocals, the sweetness of his dry falsetto and conviction of his overall vocal performance added inimitable layers of nuance to each song.
He's a brain maggot.
They said he tends to prioritize raw feeling over technical prowess, and his balls to the wall approach to interpreting the collective's rich lyricism makes him some of the most arresting moments.
Okay,
in the entire
cut it
catalog.
off. Cut it off.
Arresting moment.
I'll turn the lights off. You have to.
Jesus.
Good Lord.
Number 7, Ian. Call me!
She's good. I mean, no Debbie Harry, no Blondie. So, yeah, I've seen them maybe 4 or 5, 6 times over the last 30 years.
Number 6, Psycho Killer.
Yeah,
Qu'est-ce que c'est?
again, what's the talking heads of David Byrne? Yeah, I mean, he's a great front man.
He's still going.
Yeah, they're talking about reforming the band. Interesting.
So the top 5, Ian.
I'll do a drum roll,
these?
sure.
I think we are going to agree on the top 5.
Go ahead.
I'm okay with this. Kurt Cobain, number 5.
Yeah. There's
So-
just not a debate. Yeah.
No, just his presence alone and his songwriting and his his raspy voice and the fact that he dressed like a bum. I loved it.
Yeah, he had a great
It's
voice.
good. Number 4, I'm definitely okay with this. I'd probably put in the top 3. Robert Plant.
Yeah, a lot of lists put him number 1. I mean, again, that's just hit you in the head obvious.
Number 3, guess who it may be?
Roger Waters? No. My God, did you sit on that?
Yeah, Freddie Mercury.
Yeah, Freddie is a great front man. No Freddie, obviously no Queen.
Number 2, Stevie Nicks.
I disagree. Anyway, I don't regard her as a front person at all.
Well, who was it? Was it her or was it Christy McVie that was lead?
Mostly Stevie did. Stevie did a lot of stuff, but it's Fleetwood Mac. On her own, she did some stuff, but I wouldn't call it. She's just a performer. She's not a front person for a band.
And number 1,
Yeah.
drum roll, please. None other than the legend himself.
Gordon Lightfoot. No.
Don't get angry with me, Mick Jagger.
My God, that's terrifying. Yeah, he's the ultimate front man.
He
Mick
fits
Jagger.
the top 10.
Yeah, I mean, it's not debatable. Who would be more of a rock and roll front person than Mick Jagger? Who? All I can think of in my little world would be Robert Plant, but Jagger's still going, and Plant's doing his weird kind of rockabilly stuff with Krauss. So I don't know.
See, on my number 6 point, longevity or long-running shelf life as a front man earns you extra bonus points. Well, Sir, is it Sir Mick? It is Sir Mick Jagger.
It is,
isn't
but not Sir Keith or Keith.
It's not Sir Keith yet?
You kidding? Okay.
It's Sir...
As if he's gonna be knighted.
Well, why not?
He can't show up. He'd be puking everywhere.
Benighted I'm surprised Rod Stewart's not even on the list.
I know that's not a great list. Why wouldn't Rod Stewart be on there?
That's a terrible list. You know what? I think we're going to probably do another show of frontmen, and it's going to be Kennedy and Clarke's top 50, and we're going to collaborate together. So we promise you that.
Here's one. This is from greatmusic.com. I'm going to comment on the ones that are outrageous.
Okay, you shoot out the names, and I'll now play Dr. Clarke on this.
Okay,
yeah.
Scott Weiland.
From Stone Temple Pilots?
Yes.
I'm okay with that.
David Byrne, yeah.
Yeah.
Rod Stewart.
100%.
Van Morrison.
Well, he's one person.
Yeah, I wouldn't. It's a kind of goofy. Neil Young.
Well, are we going Crazy Horse?
I guess so.
We're going CSNY, because it was kind of shared of a workload.
Yes, either side it doesn't make sense.
I still see him as a solo artist.
Alice Cooper.
Okay, so it's the band now. Fine. Yes, his stage presence is fantastic.
Levi Stubbs, that's with the Four Tops. I wouldn't call him a frontman. Pat Benatar, oh, let me kill myself. Pete Seeger, oh, come on.
Pete Seeger?
He was a guy from the 50s who sang a lot of socially, where have all the flowers, like all that stuff. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, Kurt Cobain, yeah.
Yes.
David Johansen, yeah.
From the New York Dolls?
Yeah, good front
How
man.
about us, Buster Poindexter? Feeling hot, hot, hot.
Well, that's what he became when he ran out of money. Marvin Gaye, I would not call a front man. Dave Grohl, never heard of him. Phil Lynette, that's Thin Lizzy. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Sure, Michael Stipe, yeah. Sly.
Phil Lynette died, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Michael Stipe, we spoke of. Sly Stone, yeah.
And the
sure.
Family Stone?
And the Family Stone.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Chris Robinson.
Oh, from the Black Crowes?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Kind of. Peter Wolf, that's from Jay Giles, okay. Elvis Costello, yeah,
I mean, Declan, what's his name?
Declan
McManus?
McManus, I
Is that
think.
okay? Yeah.
Chuck Berry, I wouldn't say he's a front man. He's Chuck Berry.
Well, hold on. Wasn't his cousin in the Penguins?
Still, what are you did you have a minor stroke over there? What does this have to do with Chuck Berry?
It's his cousin, Marvin Berry.
Sam Cooke's not a front. No, Sam Cooke's a great singer. A front man. Joe Strummer. We spoke. Bono, Vox, Axl, Ronnie Van Zant. Yeah, maybe that.
Skinner.
Yeah, Tina Turner. Yeah.
But solo.
I guess with Ike, she fronted it.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay, that's fine. Ike and Tina. Gotcha, okay.
Ian Anderson from what? Jethro Tull. I guess so. Bob Marley. Yeah. Bon Scott. Yeah, okay.
For AC/DC?
Yeah,
Well, he was the second singer.
it's true. Otis Redding, I wouldn't call a frontman. Eddie Vedder, we spoke of. David Lee Goth, we spoke of. Chrissy Hine. Elton John, you're confusing the term frontman if you're talking about Elton John.
He's his own.
I know he has a band, but I'm just going to let that one die on the vine. Iggy Pop, yeah. Little Richard, he's not a frontman. Freddie Mercury, yeah. David Bowie. I'm going to get to why I think Bowie's not a frontman later. Bruce Springsteen, yeah, because it is a band. Jim Morrison,
Band, yeah.
James Brown, we spoke of, or haven't spoke of.
James Brown, what's the name of his band?
I guess James Brown, and the Flames. I guess so. Roger Daltrey, yeah, Mick Jagger, and at number one they have Robert Plant.
I like that. It's a good list.
It's not bad. Now this is from thisisdig.com. There's only 20 of them. I find it a much more interesting list. I'll just buzz through it.
All right.
Number 20, Morrissey from the Smiths. Yeah, sure. Ann Wilson Hart, yeah. Johnny Lydon from the
Sex Pistols.
Yeah, Patti Smith from Patti Smith Group. Okay, Ian Curtis, the late Ian Curtis from Joy Division. Okay, Grace Slick, we spoke of. David Byrne. Susie Quattro. Yeah, she had a band. I wouldn't put her in the top 20, but okay, Janis Joplin, yeah. Bruce Dickinson from Iron Maiden.
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah, he goes around stage.
Joan Jett, yeah. Again, I wouldn't put it as I don't know, too minor a figure or something for me. Iggy Pop, yeah. Susie Sue from Susie and the Banshees. Yeah, I wouldn't put her at number 8. Axl Rose, we've spoken. Robert Plant, yeah. W. Harry, Jim Morrison, who else? Chrissy Hine, yeah. Freddie Mercury. And number 1, Les Rolling Stones, Mick Jagger. And I put David Bowie hit all those buttons, but I don't really think of him as a frontman because for most of his career, he had a rotating band. When I think of frontman, I think of someone who sings in front of what I could call a static band, like the Rolling Stones, the Talking Heads. That's why you can't call Marvin Gaye a frontman. You know, to just put it in perspective, and was Frank Sinatra an entertainer? Was he a singer, or was he a frontman? Well, obviously, when you think of Frank Sinatra, you think of a singer. Maybe a movie actor. But why couldn't you call him a frontman? Well, he doesn't really have a band, right? In the early days, I know Dorsey and these guys. But later on, he's not a frontman. He's a singer, and there's a difference. So that's my input to this interesting session.
Welcome to Kennedy's Corner. Following the advice of a behavioral psychologist, Ferris Kennedy has created a forum to express his nightmares, his terror, and his love of rock music.
So this is what I got here for some honorable mentions.
Okay.
Just some honorable mentions here that obviously none of those lists I think even touched.
All right.
This is what I came up on my own, so Ian, let me know.
Sure.
Elvis Presley.
You know what? I'm going to say yes because in the beginning he had a band.
Yeah, because I put, he has a great stage presence, played the guitar, looked good, soulful voice, was able to work with the audience, and had the gyrating hips. I love that. Gyrating hips.
Elvis the Pelvis.
That's right. The other one I put was Ronnie Hawkins and the Hawks.
Why? To make me mad?
Because you always call him a bottom feeder.
Ronnie Hawkins and the Hawks. Yeah, a good frontman, I guess. I mean, he made a living at it, right? He paid the bills, but... I mean, Ronnie Hawkins, Ladies and Germs, I've always thought, I don't understand his career at all. Yeah, I think two, maybe 3 hits. Mary Lou, she took my walk. I don't know. I because I'm sitting down and I don't want to get up and punch you, but I just, I have issues with Ronnie Hawkins.
Okay. The other one I put here was John Lennon from the Beatles. So I had written, basically 57 to 80 active as an artist. Could write songs like no other, played the guitar, looked the part in his early career, had okay stage presence and got the audience going, had a successful solo career, and in my opinion, opened the door to the music today in collaboration with Paul McCartney.
I agree, but I don't think he's a frontman.
Okay.
Yeah.
This one here was kind of interesting. I threw it on there to see what you think, Ian. Levon Helm from the band.
You know what? I'm going to go with that because it certainly wasn't Robbie. They were a band. But if anyone kind of stands out for me, it's Levon. And Levon sells cartoon balloons in town. So
Yeah, he's got. He was a longtime drummer for the band. Wore many musical hats throughout his long career, including multi-instrumentalist, songwriter, singer, impresario, studio owner, studio engineer, and producer. This one here, I had to do it because I got to appease my Canadian fans. Not that I have many. Geddy Lee from Rush.
Whoa, how do you feel about that?
Well, he's a great musician, great songwriter. He could play both the guitar, keyboard, bass, even probably the keytar. His voice has been criticized by many. He does not have stage presence, but had longevity and a huge following and influenced progressive rock in Canada, I would have to say.
Okay.
So I have to put him on there because out of respect, he is still a talented musician.
Oh, yeah.
Very. And people, we like to poke fun at him, but deep down inside, he's a good human being, actually. So let's give him that. And yes, they wrote some pretty good songs. This one here, I was surprised not on the list. John Fogerty.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, he was CCR's frontman for sure.
Well, he was CCR.
He was, but I'm not sure if John Fogerty, you can see it, ladies and gentlemen, on YouTube videos. He's not great with a crowd. He's really kind of awkward and wooden. He's just too wound up. So I'd knock him down for that. But when you write those many songs, like 10, 15 classic songs, and you get to wear a plaid shirt all the time, sure, go for it.
Yeah, because I put here, wrote majority of the songs, played the guitar.
Yeah.
Released 9 top 10 singles, all written by Fogerty between 69 and 71.
Pretty good.
Starting with the standard Proud Mary, and then we got Bad Moon Rising, and even got political with Fortunate Son.
Yeah,
so that was a good song.
True.
This one here, Ian, you're probably going to agree with me. Burton Cummings from the Guess Who.
Yeah, Burton Cummings is he is a good front man. He's kind of a hosehead, but he's a good front man. Sorry.
He's from the Peg.
Well, not only that, he's from Winnipeg, but he just is. He's one of those guys that shouldn't get too personal when he talks because you realize that there's not a lot going on with Burton. But he writes incredible songs.
Yeah, I wrote here basically lead singer and songwriter for the Guess Who, collaborated with Randy Bachman, who, by the way, they found his guitar twice.
Because he lost it again.
Yeah, had a great voice, and his stage presence behind the piano was actually entertaining.
Yeah.
So, I like that solo song they did, that album there with Stand Tall.
Oh, my God.
Don't you fall.
That forced me off the road once when it came on the radio.
It's a good song.
Oh, Jesus.
I like how you always say it. The other one I had put here that did not make the list, which I think was influenced by Jim Morrison, is actually Michael Hutchence from In Excess.
Yeah, that's a really good inclusion. He was a great front, the late great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ill-fated frontman for 80s pop sensation In Excess. I call him the Australian Jim Morrison.
Yeah.
He resembled him, actually, in style and in looks.
He had the leather pants.
Yeah. Billy Gibbons from ZZ Top doesn't get much respect, I think it's because they basically spent majority of their career in Texas.
Plus, they're a trio. I wouldn't say he's a front man. I mean, he's just a guitar guy with a big beard.
The other one I put on the list that did not mention was Vince Neil from Motley Crue.
What do you feel?
Oh, he should be on there.
All right.
100%. When we do the frontman part 2, Ian and I will have a list that we're going to put together, and we'll collaborate with one another. And we're going to use it from 60s, 70s, and 80s, and maybe one or two from today. We'll see how it goes. I have to say, Brian Johnson from AC/DC did not make the list.
Yeah,
so
that's a little weird.
It is weird. You got to realize this is 40-plus years. He saved the band.
Oh, easy.
He saved the band.
Easy. He's a good frontman. Yeah.
Very good frontman.
Whether you like him or not, it doesn't matter.
I love the guy. I think he's awesome. This one here, Ian, you're probably going to be like, I don't know. John Bon Jovi.
I don't know. But John Bon Jovi, and again, I'm not in love with him, but a good frontman. Yeah. And cute as a bug, too, in his prime.
Yeah, he was.
Oh, yeah.
Him and Richie Sambora, the girls went nuts for those two guys.
Sure.
This one here, Ian, obviously it's a little bit my choice. Bryan Adams and his band is actually the Dudes of Leisure, so you can put him in the same category as Neil Young.
Oh, I won't be that mean. But A good front man. Well, you would know that. I mean, is he engaged the audience? Is he
Huge. He's like involved.
Yeah. Put it this way: would you ever say anything bad about him?
I can't.
Okay.
He's known for arena rock.
I'm going to speak to my lawyer and have him represent me in this.
He's gifted with a powerful hoarse voice.
Oh God.
Then what else did I have on here? Did I have somebody else? I think I did. Nope, that was it. Those are the ones that I felt deserved an honorable mention.
No, good. That's good. I mean, you certainly you added some spice to the dip, and I appreciate it. But it's got my mind wandering a bit, and I'm thinking about some other things, and I think it might be time for a Clarke comments.
Go ahead.
Welcome to Clarke Comments. Shut up and buckle up as the good doctor kicks out the jams and offers a selection of questionable, disturbed opinions that are somehow related to popular music.
Okay, you know what, folks? I admit it. Taylor Swift fascinates me. I don't know what to make of her. I feel the same way a middle-aged guy must have felt in 1964 with Beatlemania. What is going on? Now, I came across an article in the Harvard Gazette, and I think it may help me out somewhat in trying to decipher Taylor. I'm going to paraphrase some of it. The article is called "So What Makes Taylor Swift So Great?" The editor interviewed different kind of experts in their field from Princeton and Harvard against this question. And the guy leads the article saying, well, whether you're a fan of Taylor Swift or not, it's hard to deny the cultural and financial juggernaut the pop superstar has become this year. Her album Midnights, released in 2022, was the year's top seller at 1.8 million copies, twice that of the second biggest by Harry Styles. Her latest, Speak Now, Taylor's version, debuted in July at number 1. Her Eras tour, which is currently going on in the United States, is expected to gross $1.4 billion US. Like, it's just, everything is so gargantuan. It could have an economic impact on the towns it visits of $5 billion. That's on the host cities. The U.S. Federal Reserve has noted the effect of her tour on regional economies. This is pretty incredible. So, anyway, to understand this phenomena, the Gazette spoke to so-called experts, the first one being Stephanie Burt, a professor of English. The question, how good is Swift as a songwriter? Answer, she has a terrific ear in terms of how words fit together. She has a good sense of writing songs that convey a feeling that can make you imagine this is the songwriter's own feelings. She can write songs that take place in one moment, and she can write songs with verses that are cleverly rhymed. She's able to create verbal hooks. I'm only 17. I don't know anything, but I know I miss you. So, unquote. By the way, folks, trivia here. Taylor Swift is the only living artist to have 4 albums in the Billboard Top 10 at the same time since Herb Alpert did it in 1966. Like, the records are being blown out the window here. There's a question to Alexandra Gold. She's a psych prof at Harvard. Question. Swift appears to have a devoted fan base who feel intensely connected to her and her music. Why is that? Answer. There is a strong social and emotional bond that people feel with her. Swifties. And in general, when people become superfans or part of the fandom, it is often because there is something special about the object of that fandom. I'm thinking now of the Grateful Dead, right? The public figure or the celebrity. In the case of Taylor, there's a bunch of stuff going on. I'm paraphrasing here. She's singing about her lyrical content, I'll reword it, is something people can relate to, often these young women. Question that goes out to Matthew Andrews. He's a lecturer at Harvard Kennedy School. Question, you and your colleagues have examined the effects on cities and regions hosting mega events. What do you make of Taylor Swift? Answer, well, the $5 billion, I think, is completely accurate. I would be in agreement with those numbers because those are the kinds of gains you see in an event like a Super Bowl. The thing that is so amazing about Taylor Swift concert in particular is that it goes from city to city, and you see the same kind of impact across all the cities. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to wind it there. I think what I'm trying to do is trying to decipher, and I'm sure you have your private thoughts, about what the Taylor Swift phenomena. It's been compared to Beatlemania. Until I read over the statistics in this article, I didn't realize she was so powerful, right? And she's dating an NFL player now and getting more power. She's a phenomenal person. You don't have to like her or not. The phenomena itself is what engages me. And that's enough today for Clarke comments.
She does not belong in the NFL. Absolutely not. As a huge fan of pro football, it does not mix well when you have someone of that caliber who's attracting fans for now, and the gravy train is good for the NFL. But when I'm watching Sunday Night Football or Monday Night Football, I don't want the cameras focusing there on Taylor Swift and Mama Kelsey because she's there supporting one of her sons. Obviously, we know you like Travis a little better right now because he's with Taylor. I don't believe it's necessary. She is drawing the wrong fans. They're not going to be loyal fans for football. I'm sorry.
No.
It's terrible. They got jerseys now with number 87 saying Swifty in the back.
All right.
Come on.
There's some merch, pal.
Nah, I understand it's the merch, but you know what? As a huge, passionate NFL fan, I'm a huge, huge Miami Dolphins fan. Everyone knows that.
Okay, well,
She's a good artist. On an artist side, she's a good artist. But we start off in country, just so you know. They market her to be younger than what she is.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's very humble. She's the girl next door. I know she's a good human being. There's no bad bone in this girl's body.
She is this perfect geek as chic thing, yeah.
And that's cool. And I like her music, but her music has to be with her music, and it could go on the billboards, it could go on MTV, it could go on whatever has to relate to music. But when it comes to football, stay in your lane and make a left turn at Albuquerque and stay there.
You heard it here, folks, on Serious Rock Talk Podcast. And with that, I think we're going to go to Albuquerque. Hang in there.
So we done on this one, Doctor?
I think so, pal.
We are? All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to us. And again, please email us your thoughts and comments at seriousrocktalk@yahoo.com. And if you need anything, you know where to reach us. I'm Kennedy signing off, and the man next to me,
Dr. Ian Clarke. Goodbye.
Au revoir.